Hi guys, Dr. Seti here, the weight loss therapist. I get asked about cycle syncing a lot, so I thought I'd jump on and talk about that real quick. Cycle syncing, which is basically adapting your lifestyle to suit your body's needs throughout your menstrual cycle. And it can basically help to ensure that you're meeting your body's nutrient needs, your body's rest needs, your body's, relief needs at every stage in your cycle. And there are 4 stages throughout our cycle. The first of which is menstruation, which is about day 1 through 5. And at this point, your estrogen and progesterone levels are pretty low, and the body needs to restock nutrients that it's losing. So you want to eat foods that are high in magnesium, iron, essential fatty acids. So think like dark leafy green vegetables, avocado, fish, nuts, seeds. This is also a time when you really want to avoid things that cause inflammation or can make bloating worse. So things like salty foods, things like caffeine, things like alcohol. They're just going to intensify all of your symptoms during this period of time. And then exercise is something we also want to pay attention to in terms of cycle syncing. And at this point in time, light exercise is kind of the ideal go-to. It's not the time to go crazy with the HIIT stuff. So think about yoga and walking and stretching, or even if you wanted to take a few days off every month for exercise, this would be the time to do that. Second phase is the follicular phase, which is, day 6 to about ovulation, around 14. Obviously, this is a little different for everybody. But this is when our estrogen and progesterone levels are starting to rise. So again, nourishment is important. You want to focus on whole foods. You want to focus on protein. You want to focus on putting good things in your body and avoid foods that cause blood sugar spikes. This is also a really good time to level up your workouts with some short bursts of aerobic activity, cardio, more intensive movement than you were doing during the previous phase. Then we move into ovulation around maybe day 15 to 17, something like that. And this is when our estrogen levels peak. Testosterone and progesterone are continuing to rise, but our estrogen levels hit their peak. And this is when we really want to focus on anti-inflammatory eating. So looking at obviously produce, fruits and vegetables, nuts like almonds, whole grains like oats, berries are really particularly fantastic. And incorporating a variety of both raw and cooked items is going to be really beneficial for you during this period of time. This is also a great time for circuit training, for high intensity workouts, for exercise that requires stamina. Because again, estrogen is at its peak, progesterone and testosterone are continuing to rise, so you have a lot of capability for stamina and things that require more intensity. So this is the time to do that. And then the last phase is kind of the luteal phase, which is day 18 till menstruation, so depending upon how long your cycle is. And this is when your body's kind of gearing up for that. So like we talked about, progesterone is rising, testosterone is starting to drop a little bit, estrogen is starting to drop a little bit. So again, at this time, you want to think about protein and healthy fats and foods that help produce serotonin. Again, we're talking about our leafy greens, but we're also looking at root vegetables, fish, ginger, brown rice, all these things that are going to be really good for your body, while avoiding dairy particularly and carbonated drinks during this time, which can really intensify some of that premenstrual bloating, some of our digestive issues, cramps, all of that kind of stuff. So you want to steer away from that. And for exercise during this time, you want to stick to really regular cardio and straight strength training without kind of a HIIT component or without any of the really high intensity anaerobic stuff. So that's not the time when we want to be doing HIITs. But regular cardio and strength training are great until basically the time you enter menstruation. So that's kind of how you want to work your eating and particularly your exercise to your cycle, or as we call it, cycle syncing. So I hope that's helpful. If you've never tried it, I actually encourage people to try it as closely as they can for about 2 cycles, just to see how they adapt to that and how their body starts to change the second time around as they've gotten into a groove with it. It can be quite beneficial. Again, hope that helps, and I will see you later. Bye.